Welcome to Event-Vods. This is the full VOD of today's NLC Winter 2025 matchup.
If you're Ruddy Sack here, that's what you're hoping for, but the Ash ban speaks up, very traditional AD carry bans in the current meta, banning out the utility AD carries.
Dude, I love this. Irelia ban towards leaders mid lane. I mean, he's known for playing these types of champions. Now, the interesting part is I want to see what Perks brings over in the top lane. The fact that we have leader in ERLs, we know he's playing more of the aggressive style mid laners is very exciting, but also Perks has made a whole new lane swap again, and this time around he's gonna be landing towards the top side of the map. He's playing against Turtle, who is the only Brazilian player, if I'm not wrong, that we've ever had over in the NLC. And it's also exciting because we have so many different players from so many different continents actually in the NLC right now. And here we go. Vamos Brazil.
Yeah. You got it.
She did.
It's an easy word, man.
Yeah.
It's an easy word. It's fine.
No, I think Skarner, first time making it through.
Not banned.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of crazy, but I do like what KAOS have done here, though, right? Banning out a few of these leader chains, but that can also be swapped to Perks in the top lane now that you have, a former mid laner up in the top lane, and MSI winning AD carry and a world finalist AD carry, but also an NLC winner in that mid lane role, right? So Turtle on his NLC debut, what would you like in here? NLC debuts all across the board is worth mentioning for KAOS. The organization is having their first game. Every player on this lineup is having their first game. And you know what they're going up against? The Ruddy Sack. I know they're sweating in their boots right now. I know this is who they want to beat, as I have talked with them, right? And they're starting off the draft with the Maokai Jinx. It's safe, it's standard, it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of like front to back. You've got the Maokai for pretty good engage and disengages and pretty good support next
he
to
kind of
Jinx.
has to, right?
Yes,
He
awesome
has to.
The Draven
He has to.
from Hams. His
has
first
arrived.
competitive day in League of Legends is today. First one was a loss. Second one slamming in the Draven into the Jinx. Now, again, a pretty strong support right next to Jinx to try and keep her safe. I feel like a protected Jinx composition is very mandatory from KAOS right here. Everything on that Jinx basket. And let's see what... I'm assuming it's going to be a mirror on the mid lane right here. Possibly a control mage again. Hwei this time around for JJ.
Okay, man. Go on, Asha. You look like someone who wants to speak something.
I love the Draven, obviously, but that Jinx is going to suffer so much. It's not an easy matchup. So not only you have to protect her, you also have to make sure that gold is being funneled into her. Ooh, Draven, if he has like 2 kills, it's gonna be danger. It's gonna be danger. Renata getting out. What else?
It's gonna be rough, right? All of a sudden, a lot of pressure now for KAOS not to allow this Draven to snowball ahead. Hums might not have much competitive experience, but having looked at their scrims, he's certainly able to carry games on this Ruddy Sack roster if put in the position to do so. As the bands continue to go through, this support pool really getting trimmed. I don't think Hostin will be trembling in his boots about that, though, with this many years of experience in his baggage, right? There's certainly a lot of champs that he has played competitively before. So let's see if they continue to trim it out. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there are still some strong meta support that hasn't been banned, but no, instead, the silence will be the priority as... Okay.
I like the Braum ban right here coming through from the Ruddy Sack because traditionally you see hard engaged melee supports paired up with Draven, and Braum is an absolute killer in this lane, especially any melee support whatsoever. So I do like the Braum ban right here from the side of Ruddy Sack. They have learned. Now is the time if they want to slam something like an Ornn as well. Feel free, go for it.
Okay.
The Bard as well.
No, fair play, man. That's big respect, right? You have to really look into Rud. So he is a big Bard player, and they did mention to me when I talked to them, he could whip it out the split. But to ban it as well, that is a sign of respect. And fair play to Ruddy Sack. They aren't messing around here, right? That really shows that they have taken this seriously, and I have high respect for that. As now the jungle comes through, the Wukong has been seen a lot in competitive recently, not found much success in the NLC today. I mean, has had some good games, but also some games where the Wukong has been really quiet. Back onto Ruddy Sack now as they look to round out their roster.
And that also tells us the story about where the Maokai is going as well. It's going to be a bot lane Maokai since the Wukong has been locked in for Taxfix right there. The Rel coming through together with the Draven or the Nautilus either. Pretty good combo anyway. Yeah. And now is the time that we've been looking for. What does Perks blind pick for that top lane? Ambessa taken away. Cassante taken away. Gnar was the last ban on that first game that they played against Perks over in that top lane.
Yes,
They know
I'm
it.
happy with this, right? A real top lane champ, not flexing anything this time around. Perks will be getting his foot in the water
A
now.
real top lane champ for a real
Yeah,
top
yeah,
lane.
yeah. No, I like this. I like this. I want to see what he can do on those top lane champs. Something that he hasn't played before in the AD carry or mid lane position. Rod, so what do you lock in now to try and
Wait.
keep your AD carry safe?
It's a
Huge
Maokai
pressure on his
top.
shoulders.
Yeah.
Wait,
But he
it's
is-
a Maokai
go on.
top lane.
Yeah,
We haven't
versus
seen,
Nar,
we haven't
it's
seen a
not easy.
Maokai top lane in tier 1 in so long. But you know what? Declan was saying, hey, you know what? In my team, I've seen so many teams pick Maokai top lane into my team.
is
and
big
it
in
makes
them,
sense. So I can't wait to see what Maokai top lane can do here. I love what KAOS have. Very traditional, front to back, major engage tools, major disengage tools for KAOS, a lot of scaling on the side, and for Ruddy Sack, they've got so many ways of picking people off. Perks has a chance to do something with the Nari in the top lane, pressuring onto the Maokai, and of course not to lose Draven, a very scary early game duo.
This is it. This is Perk's debut on the top lane, and we get to see Ruddy as well at full power. For KAOS, they want to enter on the right foot, but imagine this. If KAOS takes this win, not only it's a big one for them, especially on the group stage, but also they put Ruddy on an 0-2, and everybody was looking at Ruddy to be 2-0 at the beginning of this day.
Yeah.
Duckling, tell me why and who's going to win.
This is a very short point, right? Because I know, having talked to KAOS, that what they look most forward to in the NLC was playing these big teams. And with the way the seeding could go, who knows if they get another shot, right? They have to hit the ground running here if they want to fulfill what they came into the NLC to do. This is what the players have waited for. They have wanted this game to come today. They have wanted to play against the big teams, and this is potentially their only chance to split. They're under a heap of pressure, as I think Ruddy Sack have got a good draft to set Hums up to carry the game, and I think they're going to be able to play through it. But if KAOS pull this through, it will be a miracle upset, and I know the players will be proud and have that achievement for the rest of their life. So I'm hopeful for them, but I think Ruddy have got in the draft here. I'm all in on Ruddy Sack.
Okay. Well.
I'm all in on Ruddy Sack as well. I think this
go.
draft is much more structured. It's got a lot of avenues for split push, for engage, disengage, picks, early game potential, as well as scaling. I think it's a very well-rounded draft versus KAOS, who also want to play very traditional front to back. But I feel like Ruddy Sack do have the experience behind those compositions a little bit more.
Well, 2-0 on this, but can they get their first win on this second day for Ruddy, or will KAOS bring in their first win and put Ruddy on an 0-2 today? Tossing it to two casters who are waiting, middle cut, and Jamato, take it away.
Thank you very much, Archram, as we are going to be jumping into our third game of the day very shortly. Jamada, I just want to put it to you. KAOS, they leave the Humza Draven open. Feels a little bit disrespectful in my eyes, I'm not going to lie.
Did we do our homework? It's like, you know, if you've done any modicum of research on Humza, and hell, if you saw the debates between him and his friend Sancho, there's a whole big conglomerate of streamers. Humza on Draven, challenger.
Yeah.
Humza off Draven, hard stuck low master. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules.
And I feel like we see this every time we have a quote-unquote one trick coming into the league where there's just like one champion they're really good at. There's always a team early on that'll go, what's the worst that could happen?
Leave it open.
It never well.
Now, the counterpoint is potentially a lane swap, but, you know,
30 seconds until minions
kind of, we'll see how it plays out. I've got to say, Turtle, never seen you before. Like the hair, mate. With you and I might get on. Either way, even after doing, I've just never seen a picture of Turtle. That's all. Ruddy Sack, if they're allowed to regular lane and Humza is actually playing Draven in a 2v2 lane, this might be one of the biggest slights I think I've seen in terms of respect to a player on an individual level. Because again, I don't know how else to say it. He is a one trick.
Yeah.
Right. He's branched out. Don't get me wrong. And if you've been watching Ruddy Sack scrims and you've been keeping up, he's, you know, his Corki is something that he obviously leans on a lot. The Ezreal is the other pick too. But he's the Draven guy. You know, it is just his thing. They're gonna get a late invade going, so it's even gonna be a map split, which
Oh.
with a Skarner, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like that's sort of gone unspoken. First time that
Yeah.
Skarner's not been banned in the NLC this split.
Yeah, I'm not fully sold. Now, Taxvig is here with Smite. He's gonna
not there.
wall, but
It's
he's
not
gonna
there,
see
bro.
Yankos. So he'll secure this. Yankos wants it to reset, but he's not gonna be able to get it to. So that'll go over to KAOS. So it's not gonna be a true map split. Taxvig kind of breaks it open a little bit. But still, you can already see like the immediate early threat, right? As hustling. Very close to connecting. I've seen weird and Nautilus connect, right? That connects. It's a flash blown. It's one of those kind of things. But with Yankos being pushed out, it does mean there's a little less pressure on Ardafla and Rutzo.
So, if we are to play devil's advocate, Jamada,
Yeah.
I'm
listening.
gonna. I don't even feel like it's being charitable. I feel like KAOS know that Hamza is a bit of a Draven player, and
I mean, how can you not?
How can you not?
Yeah.
And so I think the thought process would have been going into this game, we're going to leave the Draven open on the basis that our composition, what we can draft around it, is going to be able to win out. Do we feel like that's the case?
No. Look, I actually do. You know, player names removed and such. I do quite like their draft. I think it's a very, very solid front to back. You know, a decent amount of non-committal engage between Maokai, between Leona, and of course Taxvig on the Wukong. Great committal engage. Speaking of committal, Yankos a little bit short on the traversal there, so won't find connection. Won't see chain CC, but again, just the pressure, right? The immediate kind of just 4 or 5 camps Yankos into bot lane. You know where they want to butter their bread this game. As more poke. It's going to feel like this all lane. And Yankos, I mean, if he didn't have nothing to farm on the bottom side, might have made his way to the top side. Leader has the back of Yankos, so he's not too scared to step up there.
I think the sort of situation that we're seeing around bot lane is sort of the other side of the coin that people don't necessarily associate with Draven all that much. It's like, yeah, you can go absolutely crazy all in at level 2 and just try and kill people. As speaking about all ins, we've got kind of one in the mid lane, kind of one in the jungle there. KAOS not really winning out on either of them, as Taxvig and JJ both going to be forced to reset.
It seems like Taxvig lost that smite on that chicken camp, so pretty unlucky for him. Yankos happy to walk away with that skull, and then all of the camps top to bot, by the way. So very solid bit of pathing for him to do. He's going to take the reset first, get the gold in, right? Get that gold spent, and then look to clear it out very quickly, no doubt. Just continuing to likely path down to wherever this Draven goes, wherever they set up lanes. Expect Yankos to be around Hamza. And once you start to kind of hit that somewhat break point of maybe 250, 300 stacks, you start to think about coming down to cash in.
Yeah.
On that Draven passive, unless, of course, they just straight up find that 2v2. Because I think there's a bit of a misconception sometimes about, you know, Draven passive, Draven players in general. It's a bit of a stigma, honestly. Which, is it a stigma if it's kind of, you know, if the accuracy rate is kind of high, at what point does it not become a stigma? But, you know, trying to force the plays early, get kills, get the snowball going. Honestly, Draven passive, a little bit scarier if you stack it up first, wait till like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, get that big cash in, and you come back with an already completed item with that bonus gold. That feels way scarier than, you know, picking up an early kill.
JJ getting forced out again in the mid lane, doesn't have that teleport, and there's no way that he can remain. Leader just forcing himself up, delaying the base as much as possible, and I think across the map we're really seeing kind of, I think, what a lot of people expected from this Ruddy roster. A bit of a diff everywhere you're looking.
Yeah, very strong so far. As just a look at the 1v1 and how Leader got this advantage. No stun on the gravity well, but you can see how much damage. You know, mage versus mage, especially a mage like Hui early on, doesn't have a lot of damage as perks. He's gonna flash out. He's fine.
Yeah. trading a bit of damage back down onto Taxwing. That's the first real aggressive maneuver that we've seen from either of these teams that has resulted in anything meaningful. Jankos going to be able to take away these Void Grobs, and because of the amount of control that Hamza and Hustlin have of that bot lane, Taxwing's positioning on the map as well, a response in the form of an early Drake take doesn't seem that it's on the cards for KAOS.
No, it does not indeed. And as a matter of fact, whilst Jankos is going for that invade up there, I'm sure if we could maybe pan to it, Hamza and Hustlin are actually starting up the dragon already. As there you go, picture in picture. Doing it without Jankos. Don't even need the jungler. They've got so much pressure. They can afford to just do it. Hamza can go back to catch that wave now, so it's not even that much missed. And Jankos gets a bunch of tempo and an extra skull. So all of these small incremental wins for Ruddy Sack right now. Looks pretty nice. KAOS on the other side. Not really much to talk about, right? So many reactive and scaling lanes. They are to a point a bit of a passenger for the first 15-ish minutes or so. And so that when they feel like they're going to have the confidence to step up.
Yeah, it's all well and good being a passenger up to a certain point, but you've got to get in the driver's seat eventually. Issue being that if you're this far behind and it continues to move in this direction, then you're not really able to put your pedal to the metal once you get in that driver's seat.
Yeah, that's the big problem. If you lose too much early on with this kind of composition, it doesn't really become a question of when do you play, but it's how. Right?
Yeah.
And if you end up with, you know, Victor being really accelerated, or God forbid, remember, the longer Draven doesn't cash in, right? The bigger the eventual cash in does kind of become. And as such, the more threat you have to put towards him to make sure he doesn't get that cash in.
Yeah, well, already
200
on
stacks now.
200, yeah. Got to remember as well, that is going to be added on to Humza's ultimate, so when he throws that one out, we've got the execution threshold, and we've got an attempt at a play on Perks in the top lane, doesn't have the flash. Taxing follows him forward, the Nard doesn't go mega in time, and despite all of the bad things happening across the map for KAOS, they're the ones who strike first blood.
Yeah, but I mean, again, immediate response from the Ruddy Sack in this game, a lot sharper comparatively to their opening game of the day, entirely forcing off this Jinx from the wave, and this is just free plates for the Draven. And a massive lead is going to start to grow off this. It's already at 500. Individual plates going to push that to just under 8. I will push it to 8, actually. He was at 6 before. Pardon me. So, big bit of XP and gold missed out here, and Draven's lead is going to continue to grow. It's almost a full level up, actually, as well. When you take a look at the XP bars on either side, it's a very scary Draven starting to stack up here.
Leader moving over, Taxwing going to be caught out in his own jungle, hit by the Impale, the Chaos Storm going to get dropped down, and Ruddy reply in the kill department, get themselves on the board, and bring it up to a 2,000 gold lead at 10 minutes.
Yeah, so much pressure, generally. And I mean, if Jankos didn't have to use his ult there, that could just be a straight up turnaround dive into the bot lane, but just taking their time with this one, right? A complete dismantling of this bottom lane, a 30 CS lead at 10 minutes. And the worst part about this really is, for me, what do you do?
Yeah.
Realistically, as KAOS, where can you go? You lane swap, cool, well, you know, Hamza just kind of gets to hit the wave for free. And hit the tower for free with Maokai doing their best to clear it. And otherwise, you can't, there's no other valid option. So,
It's just been a
very hard.
It's been a very sort of complete domination so far through the early game. Like, the lanes have all just been winning for Ruddy Sack, and I think Jankos has sort of enabled that, but has also been enabled by that to go aggressive, get into the jungle of Taxvig, force these laners back, force people away. I think it's a pretty good sign for a team when you can win, when you can build advantages by seemingly doing very little.
Yeah, and there's not really much for Ruddy Sack to do to get these incremental leads, just because of the way that the champions interact with one another, you know? It's so difficult for champions like Jinx, for champions like Quay to really have a lot of impact unless the other team doesn't have these powerful picks like Skarner,
Yeah.
like frontliners like Nautilus. It's very, very hard to play into. You can't really be proactive. You have to try and catch the Ruddy Sack in the action, you know? And hope that they misstep and can be punished, like right now.
Yeah.
Trying their best. But Hamza and Hustling not falling for it. Kind of just understanding, hey, Jankos isn't here. There's a good chance that the Wukong's down on the bottom side. Not selling the bag at all, and looks like the wave will also start to bounce back out now too, because the control, rather, the cannon wave. They should be okay. As Jankos also returns to the bottom side.
Definitely feels like Regan's had a conversation with the lads in the Discord call.
Yeah,
Sorted them out a little bit.
Too, I'm sure.
Turtle taking a
shout out.
Oh,
He is taking more
hold
damage.
on,
He's Maokai
hold on.
though.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, he's fine. Shout out to Regan and the Ruddy Sack. They are doing a in-person event. I'm sure that is a lot of fun for the Red Bull Gaming Sphere. As hello.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. In London.
Yeah, Jake messaged me going like, "Oh, do you want to come to this?" And I'm like, "Sorry, I'm kind of busy, I'm afraid."
Yeah, would love to be there.
Oh no, absolutely. Like those, I went to the one for the spring final, went to the one for the summer final last year. Obviously, the results not favouring Ruddy on either of those occasions, but they were an absolute blast and sort of thing that I hope to see more from them, but also more from other orgs.
Yeah.
I think one of the sort of defining traits of the NLC is the sort of regional pride that exists between different countries and different regions that make up our region. I'm sure that Duckling would love to go along to a PC cafe in Copenhagen and just be very loud and obnoxious.
Yep. Sounds like something you would love quite a bit.
Oh, hold on!
Perks!
Oh no! What? No!
Oh, brother.
I'm telling you, man, the level of the level of the NLC, like MSI champions, they find it difficult to adjust to.
Can't underestimate the NLC players, man. They'll do it to you. Misflash, of course, from Perks, but being in that position, very, very risky as the leader just continues to absolutely dominate this mid lane matchup. He's
Look
up.
at the CS. Look
Yeah,
at the
so much
CS.
CS. He might even get the interrupt on that base too, and he will. Very rough. Very, very, very rough indeed. No teleport on JJ either. So leader looks like he's just going to take the reset. Maybe.
Yeah.
Thinking about
moving over to sort of pick up the wave, but that's going to give Humza the opportunity
first
to get
hour.
a decent shove on this bottom lane, and it's the sort of push and pull. You go to answer a deficiency, a hole in one part of the map, and that just opens up a fresh new wound that I'm not sure that KAOS can bandage over. First tower going in favour of Humza. This Draven yet to cash in, but still pretty damn accelerated.
That's the big worry, right? And you know, I'd almost forgotten about the part of the passive you mentioned earlier. The more stacks, of course, Draven has, it's just flat damage added to the ultimate as an execution. So if this continues to go on, I mean, it almost becomes a matter of when Humza cashes in, so long as he can keep himself positioned safely. As we look at Perks' overconfidence, perhaps forgetting what.
Notch on the queue from... No, right, okay. And
know
then
what?
that happened.
In his defense, let me... Oh, no, I mean, I don't know if there's enough delay. I guess if Perks is streaming his POV, I need to see where his cursor was when he flashed. Because... You know what I mean? Like, if... I feel like he's been a bit hard done by in that wall. I've flashed that wall in that exact spot before. It's not an easy wall to flash at times. And I do feel like he's a little bit hard done by, but still, solo killed by Turtle on Maokai. I'm sure there was some great banter in the comms about that, as maybe not so much great banter about Hufflin's pick.
Yeah, he is not enjoying this one. Kill for Ardafla, and whilst the Gold League continues to build, so yeah, definitely fighting back.
Yeah, definitely not afraid to, you know, poke their head into windows where maybe they feel like Ruddy Sack disrespecting a little hard here. Perks could be disrespecting again. As he's in between Turtle and Taxvig. Sort of at a weird angle. But they're not super sold. They're not super sold on going in without the ultimates, without maybe full information about where all of the members of Ruddy Sack are, though they are certainly very happy to look onto leader.
Yeah, jumping on top of him, dropping the sit, but he's turning around 1v3s like this before, not quite able to reach Kafler. Instead, gonna turn his focus onto JJ.
One more spell.
Just doesn't look, got the damage, mate. Locked up by dodging away from him. He spells off that queue, running for the hill.
More movement speed.
Towards the enemy base.
Nope.
You cannot adapt, but that is the personnel from KAOS and Sack inside hustling. Not quite able to on that. Taxfit gets taken down.
Yep, and there's the cash in. I'm sure we'll get that look up very, very soon in a replay. It's a lot of gold. He's up 1.8k on our Daffler, and he has 2 kills, mind you. 2 kills, and the kill he just got on leader was a shutdown. So much gold in Hum's back pocket. I'm sure he's about to base and probably pick up a full second item.
KAOS scrapping up with Ruddy Sack as Turtle was fighting up against Perks there. Despite the whoopsie that we saw a little bit earlier, Perks still up on the gold. A lot of that due to these towers, as I think we're going to have a little bit of a look at this kill from Hamza.
Oh, just unnecessary from Taxvig. Doesn't need to go in there. And immediately punished by Yankos, and now this replay into another fight.
Well, potential collapse onto leader. He's going to get bursted down. JJ with the kill, and KAOS around this drop. Enemy mid laner looking for one more support. That's a 2-0 fight so far, but Rutso's going to get taken down. Here comes Perks going mega, but still going to be able to find a prize. That one don't over to the laner, who is building that lead even more.
Very good fight for Ruddy. They should be able to pick up the dragon as well. So that's the third dragon, Infernal as well, is what we're working with in our third game of the night. I mean, more damage for the carries of Ruddy Sack. I don't think they're going to be complaining about that one, given how much we've already seen them put out. Of course, leader a little bit unsure how he ended up in that position.
Yeah.
It's the nature sometimes of replays come out of a replay. Some shenanigans are going on. They're trying to chase down Hamza. He's got a little bit too much movement speed from the Blood Rush.
You boy?
Very speedy indeed.
Perks, I reckon he wins that.
Yeah.
4 level difference. Yeah, that's gonna go for you. Turtle now gonna get locked down, but Perks having burnt a lot of those cooldowns to take down the Wukong. Potentially not in the best position as the collapses started to come through from KAOS. I mean, definitely a lot easier to lock down, but good flash gets away from the solar flare, and Perks escapes with his life.
Yeah, keeps his life, loses his flash. Would like to have that one, against the immobile backline of Jinx and Hui, but just, again, a little bit... I mean, this is the thing with Perks. He's always been a confident player, right? And doesn't really matter what era of Perks, even in the rosters where, they weren't necessarily doing too well. Perks always seemed to be one of the shining lights in them throughout that slightly rough period, as the Rocket isn't going to steal Atacon. And again, we do get, of course, Voracious buff. EGA. And I was speaking, I don't know, it's conflict of interest bringing up this conversation, because I will nominate as a part owner of the Ruddy Sack, but was speaking with Dom about this buff, and I don't know how they ever balance this. Ever. Between pro play and solo queue, because if you're unaware, obviously it seems like in solo queue it's very rare that you actually end up with this GA buff. It's maybe 1 in 5 games. I think it's actually a little bit less. I think they released the stats on what it is, but in pro play, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen it not be the GA buff.
Yeah, 1 in
the
5
Voracious
games,
buff. So
just get a free team fight.
yeah. So I'm not sure how they end up balancing it without pretty much just doing a separate patch, and they've always been very, very averse to doing separate patch. Yeah, balanced team. So, Freak, Froxen, I don't envy you, and the rest of the dev team. Good luck getting this one in shape. As the Herald's going to charge on the bottom side, Perks goes in.
Yeah, he's looking for it, hustling, flashing to try and get a hook, but Ruddy Sack, they haven't really been able to gain purchase onto too many members of KAOS. Saying that, Turtle gets pulled in by the Impale, and he's going to get taken out by Hamza. Relatively low HP bars on Ruddy, but with that buff, they could just keep going forward to their heart's content. The top laner, the jungler, down for KAOS, and Ruddy Sack are not done. Leader gonna get stunned, gonna get taken out, sent back to his fountain as Perks is going forward on low HP. Hamza is destroying people with the axes. All of them are dead. All of them are dead, Jumada. Ruddy Sack are gonna end it right here, right now.
Off Draven, he's a little bit special. On Draven, he's Ham's Summer. The Ruddy Sack will claim their first win of the NLC. Though, as I say that, Taxvig might manage to kill off Hamza's G8. He's not going to do it. Not going to be able to do it middle court. And they'll end 1-1 on the day. And it's a pretty good look with their full roster in. Of course, KAOS, one of the rosters that people kind of expect.